What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified when these videos drop. Please make sure you're hitting the like and share button so that we can beat up this algorithm together, get this information out to the people in the ears that need to hear. With that being said, family, when I say that I'm tired of lending black faces to other places just so they could be racist, I'm done. I'm over it. And I've been campaigning for people to stop lending their black faces to people's agendas, whether you're lending your children and yourself for Joe Biden, or you're being a bootlick, lending your feet to Trump's shoes. I'm sick of it. So I've been campaigning for that to end. And then I came across this video, and I'm going to play it. And it fueled me. It fueled me. So I'm going to play it, and I'll be right back.
Hey, Jew.
You know I love my ancient for the mafia. My beat. Your feet in front of my seat. My seat. Your seat in front of my you. I love my HBCU.
While Joe Biden and Kamala Harris has been doing nothing for black Americans, have offered nothing for black Americans, have deliberately worked around black Americans to try to get themselves back into the White House, you're now seeing HBCUs and students there being used to be a prop. To be a prop. And some students are allowing themselves to be a prop. Well, some students, such as myself, we don't allow such things to happen. So this is a message to any politician that comes to Texas Southern University. If I'm there, you better be talking about reparations, a transformative black agenda, and you better not be talking about anything other, because you will be pressed. You will be pressed. And with that being said, Sheila Jackson Lee is getting tired of me. I tell you, I promise you, Sheila Jackson Lee is getting tired of me. I have really spoken to her 3 times now. And each time it has been more and more aggressive about reparations and a transformative black agenda, and not allowing her to lie to my face like she tried to do, which you will see in a bit because I have all evidence and tapes. But Sheila Jackson Lee came to Texas Southern University in order to give the university, one of the departments at the university, a grant for $50 million in order to help certain businesses in the area or whatnot with for environmental protection, EPA, all this other stuff, right? So they're having this huge little, you know what I'm saying, I don't say huge, but it was in this huge room. And they had this little get together ceremony type thing there, right? Where they had the news there and everything else. And my professor, she actually told us Monday that this would be taking place. She didn't tell me that Sheila Jackson Lee would be there. Nor did she tell the class that a bunch of different DNC people would be there as well. So I was able to address the situation in a room that had, you know, some powerful people in it. The House Whip was there. Katherine Clark, she was there. So I wanted to make sure that black Americans foundational black Americans, freedmen, the descendants of American slaves, I wanted to make sure our issue was not a blurry issue. I wanted to make sure that they knew that if they did not do something for us, they would be losing this election. And that's what I did. I went there to stand on business. Once I noticed that they were there, it was time to stand on business. And that's what I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play these series of videos. One is about 16 minutes, and that's explaining all of what's going on and things like that. And you get to see how proud they are that they're bringing this $50 million to the HBCU, but it's not for the HBCU. It's for different grants and things like that. So anybody of any nationality can actually go and get that grant, that business grant or whatever the situation is. So even when they're doing that, trying to put on this big show like they're bringing money to the community and all this other stuff, it's not for the community. It's for everybody. Well, we ain't doing everybody politics anymore. We're not letting anybody come and tell us no bull stuff and think they're going to get our vote for it. It's not happening. And you're not going to talk about everybody else and get us and sway us to get off of our square about what we need. We're not doing that anymore. That's not happening. So with that being said, family and friends, let's jump over to this video here. Because like I said, it's in the words of my boy Black Alpha, it's full court press season, and more of this is going to be happening. More and more of this, especially if you come around where I'm at. But I was able to get Sheila Jackson Lee to comment. I was also able to get Representative Reynolds to comment as well. And you'll be surprised how he tried to play me and say that he was for reparations and how he brought a bill to it. And then when I started to press him, well, I ain't gonna jump too far ahead. But people were getting pressed, so much so that your boy Representative Reynolds, he became a magician. I turned around. He snuck off. He got away from me by saying he needed to answer a call. I turned around, 2 seconds, talked to another lady, and then I turned around looking for, and everybody who was there that was part of the DNC were gone. Like they just learned they became magicians. They learned magic yesterday. But let's jump into this because it is a great watch. Let's go.
Big dogs are in the place. How about that? Oh, you can do better than that. And when I was mentioning them, the big dogs are the students of Texas Southern University.
Immediately, the first thing she started doing is pandering. She starts pandering to the students, trying to get that vote, trying to get that student vote.
Thank you so very much. We are excited. We have had a powerful experience, which I will share very briefly, and we have a powerful moment. First, I'd like to acknowledge a partner in crime for these issues on environmental justice. I
wanted to make sure I got a good pan of the room so we were able to see all the folks that was there, all the news that was there, and whether or not they actually play what I did or said on the news, they were there and they were able to record it so they know what it is.
Member Plummer, please stand up. We are delighted to have you here. Representative Reynolds, who runs the state of Texas, and I know he has to get things done.
And one more thing about Ron Reynolds. Come to find out, he's not the representative of Houston. He's actually the representative of Missouri City, where I am. So I'll be seeing Mr. Ron Reynolds a lot more. Just wanted to let that be known.
I'm delighted to have our senator, and senatorial districts are huge. He has a big footprint of service. We're very proud of the service of Senator Boris Miles. As well, our partner in the legal arena that we've never seen before, because he's in neighborhoods that...
There it is right there in the back, family. That's what they were given the grant for the Bullard Center for Environmental and Criminal Climate Justice. Excuse me. I don't know why I said criminal justice. But that's what they gave the $50 million for environmental and climate justice.
Have never felt the impact of his legal skills. We are grateful. Attorney Menifee, please. And we are more delighted to have our provost. We welcome him. He is making his way to this community, and he has already made an enormous impact that I'm very proud of. Provost of Texas Southern University. We want to acknowledge all other leaders of the campus, and I have to say, Chad, you're a leader of the campus. Give Chad a big hand. I don't know where he is, but we're grateful for him. Pastor Caldwell, come get your seat on the front row, please. You can come and sit right here. Come on down. I can see you way back there. Royal.
The show of the Democratic bootlick was real. I mean, she was calling them out. She was calling them out, and I'm just taking note. Like, yep, okay, that person's there. You're there. Oh, you're a senator. Okay, cool. Oh, you're Representative Ron. All right, cool. Thank you, because I will be pressing you guys. The senator, he's a little butt. He got so fucking mad, excuse my French, that he just came over and took Sheila Jackson Lee away from me. But you'll see that later. Let's continue.
He is in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to start this and to be able to, again, express my appreciation to you. I want to, right over here, just walk right in front of me. That is all right. Give Pastor a big hand. There you are. And make sure we have a seat for Commissioner Rodney Ellis. Give him a very big hand as well.
All right, so I'm going to skip past this a little bit. I just wanted her to basically announce all the people that was in the room so that we can all know, well, so that you all can know who all was in the room from the party. Okay, she hasn't introduced the House Whip yet, but after, I will be skipping a little bit ahead.
This is an amazing moment. We are very grateful again to be able to be truth sayers, but as well to be those who are problem solvers. We always find humor, and I think we have used this on the floor of the House sometimes with friends on the other side of the aisle, that they look to find a problem for a solution. The problem does not exist, and they're looking for a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. Because the way you serve America is you keep the government open. Is that right? That's right. I can't hear you. You keep the government open.
And just so you guys know, I am grinning my teeth at a lot of this while I'm sitting there, because I want it to just start going off immediately, listing as soon as she started saying things like that. But what I told myself what I was going to do was I was going to wait until the end, because everybody was smiling and being respectful towards me. Sheila knew what was up, and as long as I wasn't saying nothing, she was smiling at me. The same thing with the House Whip. This white woman was smiling at me the whole time until I got up and did what I did. But I told myself I was going to wait until it was over, and then I would go to these individuals one-on-one with my camera, and then I would talk to them one-on-one. But the coonery became so real. It became so real. And the numbers that they were throwing out and the way that she kept on trying to politicize the fact that she was the one that got it to them and all this other stuff. Remember, I'm the person you need to vote for. I'm the person that brought the money. With all that, I just couldn't contain myself and I exploded. But we haven't gotten there yet. I'm just saying, I'm playing this so that you all will be able to see the nonsensical stuff that they bring to people like the college students, because college students aren't as advanced in politics majority of the time. So they're just trying to convince these college students that they're actually doing something for them when they're not. And me being a non-traditional college student, they're not prepared for me. They're not prepared for a person who knows that you're talking and you're shucking and you're jiving within your speak. And you can't get over on me because I'm going to counteract the nonsense that you bring forward.
Fortunate that we kept the government open yesterday that allowed us to speedily, Whip Clark, who I'll introduce soon, the administrator, we were all on late night planes to be able to make it here because we have been successful in keeping the government open. Is that something good?
Yeah. They were on late night planes to make it to TSU because they were able to keep the government open. Is that something good? If you have to ask if that's something good, then it isn't something good. And you said that as if Black Americans benefit because you kept the government open, when y'all not using any of your power or ability to benefit Black Americans within that government. Oh yeah, there was a lot of grinning and bearing. There was a whole lot of grinning and bearing. And I said I was going to skip. I probably won't be skipping because I want you to grin with me so you can understand my thought process when I finally explode. Because someone told me last night that it was rude that I did that. Someone told me last night that I shouldn't have done it in the manner. There's a time and a place. No, this is the time and this is the place. Lady going to tell me, well, you got to take that to the reparations talking. No. I go where they go. I'm not going to go to some committee where they have control opposition. I'm going to go exactly where you are in my neighborhoods, in my communities, because you're here to see me. And I'm going to make our issue known. I'm not about to make it about anyone else. And I'm not going to let you make it about anyone else. Let's continue.
We would not be doing today if we had not been able to keep the government open. So I am here to indicate as a senior member of the Budget Committee and Homeland Security and Judiciary the excitement I have in the work we did and the advocacy through the Budget Committee and many others on the work you have done and the work of the Environmental Justice Center led by the father of environmental justice. I don't want him the father of injustice, but he's a fighter for environmental justice, Dr. Robert Willis.
And he's a professor that works at the college as well. They're calling him the father of environmental justice. So, yeah, he's pretty tied in with the DNC. As a matter of fact, they gave him an award. Excuse me. But let's get there.
When I mentioned to the whip of the United States Congress the importance of this meeting and to try and translate to you what is the Inflation Reduction Act, certainly doesn't connect to this concept of the environment. She was more than eager to be here, to be able to talk about the environment and health and the important work that's being done at Texas Southern University and this big announcement that's going to spread the wings of solutions with dollars that came because of your advocacy and the fight I put in and we put in the United States Congress. You can give yourselves a hand, but give Whip Clark a big hand.
I want you to understand the gravity of what she just said. When she came to Whip Clark with this nonsense, talking about this is how we can get them to get on board, Whip Clark got on board with her and gave up the funds. So why aren't you convincing Whip Clark, because you are the deputy whip of the House? She's the senior whip, you're the junior whip. Why aren't you pushing actual reparations, actual representation, actual policy that can change the conditions of Black America? Why aren't you doing that if she's so willing to make things happen? Why is there a whole rigmarole when I ask you about reparations if you can just go to the House Whip and make things happen like this, where you can give away $50 million for some environmental injustice bullshit stuff? Excuse me. Trying not to cuss my hardest, but it infuriates me the way these people speak. And people all around me heard the same thing. And very few of them had the same irk feeling that I had. Very few of them. And you'll see it when I start actually going off. You got people shushing me. The councilwoman shushed me, and I had to snap back on her and let her know off the vert, you don't shush me, I shush you. I'm here representing the Black grassroots, not you. And we deserve to have our say. And we deserve to be heard. And we deserve policy. But these people didn't like it whatsoever. There was very few that, one, thanked me while the cameras was around, while I was talking. Co-signing me, if you will. So that is the magnitude of the bull stuff being said here. You could just go to the House Whip and she's willing to give up $50 million. Why can't you go to the House Whip and get $50 million for Black Americans? Which is another question that I pose to Representative Reynolds. But let's go.
She made her way here to be part of this announcement very quickly. And then we've never had an EPA administrator. Thank you, President Biden and Vice President Harris, for bringing us an administrator whose boots are on the ground. He hasn't changed his number, but I use it quite often. And he's bending his head. But I do remember that fateful call. And I'm so grateful for his attentiveness. Many of you remember Palestine. And more things were coming in the news that was wrong. People were calling us because we were being asked to come from Houston to be helpful, and that was the train derailment. And interestingly enough, I think the Ohio has the same name that the EPA has. And they were saying what the EPA was doing, and I was calling them saying, are you sending stuff down here to us? From that dastardly site, it is good to have a person that has the expertise, but has the compassion to know what different communities that are suffering are going through, and to answer the call.
Now notice, she's talking about different communities at a HBCU. You're talking about what you're bringing to different communities at a historically black college, and without the black Americans, there would be no historically black college for you to come to give this bull stuff speech to the students there. But it's all community. Like I said, I was grinning. I was visibly upset, to where the House Whip kept looking at me, smiling at me, and I kept turning my head like, bitch, don't smile at me. You are my opposition. You don't get to smile at me. You make sure things stay away from us, that things don't happen for us. So what makes you think that you have the ability to smile in my face? Oh no. Oh no. That's not happening. That's not happening at all.
He did, and he was a problem solver. Give him, I was getting ready to call him ambassador, that made me mad. Administrator Michael Reagan, a very big hand. So my words are very brief. We just came from Lyndon Baines Johnson, which will emphasize as we bring forward very quickly our whip and then our administrator in the timeliness that we have. And that is during the environmental, and I just want to make sure the commissioner had a seat. Thank you so very much. When we were doing the Inflation Reduction Act, many people were trying to uncomplicate what this was. But we knew something in history had to be done by traveling across America. We didn't realize.
You know, things need to be done for black Americans too. Overall. But yet y'all keep finding your way to do all these other things for all this other nonsense. Because we're the one that deals with the brunt of everything when it comes down to this economic situation. We're the ones who deal with all the hardships overall. So a sane person and an intelligent mind would say, hey, if black Americans are the ones that deal with this overall, the majority of these issues, why don't we fix black America so that America can be fixed too?
As I began fighting for the creosote, the cancer clusters, the continued contamination, working with our local representatives, county, state, county attorney, that Texas was going to be in the spotlight, more so. And that is what has happened. And for the work being done by the environmental justice system here at TSU, Dr. Bullard was already gathering all the information that he had gathered for decades and seeing an opportunity to be able to work with federal funds. In order to receive them, you must be able to galvanize and to point out the needs.
Wait a second. How many times have we pointed out the needs over the years, over and over? Over and over? How many times have we pointed out the need of black Americans and articulated that need? How many times?
So we will soon announce the Environmental Justice Thriving Communities Grant, new in its formulation. And we here in Texas are getting something that we all are going to be excited about. But the premise, as I close, are just to let you know, when we went to one of our major hospitals, it is important for you to know that Texas is, and this color, number one in air pollution. The little red dot The little red white circle is LBJ. So there are neighborhoods that are number one.
She catches a glimpse of me, and she tries to make sure I see this because she sees me rolling my eyes when she starts presenting these charts. Because I started rolling my eyes. So you're going to notice she catches a glimpse. She looks dead, catch eye contact with me. And then she tries to make sure she holds it to my camera because I'm sitting there holding my camera with my hand and my arms crossed. So she can see I'm visibly irritated by the nonsense. But watch.
There are neighborhoods that are low in life expectancy. And so you can see all of these neighborhoods are low in life expectancy, the Northeast. Then there are neighborhoods with high degrees of asthma. Our neighborhoods like this have a high degree of asthma. There are two of them. The colors, the darker the color, the more asthma that we have. And again, another example of air pollution, the ozone. These are items that can be fought against with the right kind of work and funding. And the center that is going.
See how she articulated an issue, and then the first thing that she was talking about is putting funding towards it? Behind her, there's a sign that says Joe Biden, President Joe Biden, investing in America. So all while I'm listening to this, looking at that sign, hearing her nonsense, because this is nonsense to a Black American. Because we're the ones that deal with the brunt of all of that. Everything she listed that those maps represented, that's Black Americans dealing with it. So you're using Black Americans all while talking about all communities. And it's a natural known fact that not all communities deal with this stuff at the level of Black people. That's a fact. You can't name not one community that deals with this at the level of Black people or anywhere close to the level of Black people. You got these illegals getting put up in 5-star hotels and all this other stuff. They ain't even got to deal with that. And they illegally force their way into the country. They're invaders. But let one of us come to them and say, hey, we need this, we need that. Oh, well, you know, if we can't get it done this way, we're going to try to get it done that way. And no, we ain't having that no more. If you can't get it done, guess what? We can't get you back in. We can't get you that vote. We can't get you back to Washington. Have fun here in Houston. Have fun here in Houston.
To work on these issues. Unfortunately, people of color, as you can see, are loaded in these areas, which include Hispanic and African American, are the two brighter colors and the two dark colors.
People of color are loaded in these areas, which is including Hispanics and African Americans. I had a conversation in my class the other day, African American politics, and I was talking about how Black and brown, we've been conditioned to put Black with brown all throughout our struggle as of recently, when the brown people are actually working with the napkin people to keep the Black folk down. And my professor had to make the class aware that there is a study that says whenever you put Black and brown together, or this and that, or whatever the situation is, most people only remember the last thing said. So while we talk about black and brown, black and brown, black and brown, all they're hearing is brown, 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 brown. And that's the facts. And even she said it like this. She said, if we must say black and brown, if you feel obligated, why not say brown and black? Why not say brown and black? Because what you're doing is leaving the impression of black at the end, on the tail end of their mind, instead of brown. Let's continue.
Everyone see. So my remarks, this is not the icing on the cake, but the sour taste is the people who lack health insurance, which the senator, commissioner, all of us know that we have to intensely work on. But if we get an environmental grant that can cut into some of these disastrous conditions, we're working directly with neighborhoods, which is what we want to do. So if I might allow Madam Whip for a moment, I would be followed by EPA Administrator, and then we will be on the road. Please come, Whip Clark of the United States Congress.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. It is such a privilege to join you all in celebrating this incredible win.
It is such a privilege to come up here and fool you Negroes, to make you think that we're doing something so you can vote Democrat. It is such a privilege.
For Texas families, for Houston families. And I want to thank our TSU hosts, and I'm going to insist that I have a pep squad at every single one of the events. Thank you so much for being here and welcoming us here today, and for the work you do to build a stronger, greener, and more just Texas. Dr. Bullard, it is a privilege to be here with you. And this investment reflects.
All right, I'm just gonna cut it here because it, like I said, I'm reliving it again. I'm getting more and more angry. So she said some nonsense, basically nothing. It wasn't really too much in there. Then Sheila Jackson Lee brings up the head of the EPA. I'm gonna play that clip, and then she gives a check to the person that they were honoring. I forget his name, but let's go here. Oh, excuse me.
Give you all the.
That's not the right one. All right, let's go here.
Give you all the fill in the blank number, and then we will hear from Dr. Bullard. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So these are clips, and the reason why they're clipped like this is because I was using my phone, and certain times, like the first clip was about 16 minutes. At certain times, my phone would just shut off the recording because I had so many videos in my phone. So sometimes I'm coming in right after a situation because I had to leave. I mean, not leave, but I had to go out and, I had to go into my phone and delete a lot of the videos. And the second time that it happened, I just deleted most of my videos. However, it's clipped like that because of the situation. And because of that, the first thing that I started out with on the next clip, when I was talking about Sheila Jackson, is when they were presenting the check. And I asked them how much of that is for reparations. And she said, "We still working on it." And I said, "We don't need you to work on it. We need to get it done. The same way the House Whip got this done." But I'm going to play this clip, and then we're going to hit this last clip, and then we'll be out of here. right there as well before, and that's what I wanted to say as well. Right there, he was going to give a number figure, and she wanted him to hold all so she can be the one to give the dollar amount when she revealed the check. I just want that to be known.
I think anything that's good news is worth repeating, and I'm very grateful of the partners that Dr. Bullock will have. We're all familiar. But I think what I want to have the activists that are in this room.
That's his name, Dr. Bullock. But we're going to fast forward to the check presentation.
$50 million.
All right, my camera's up front, you got 10. My camera's in front, you got 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we gotta look up here, please. My camera's in front, you gotta go down. Thank you. My friend right here, right here.
And the TV man is waving and saying we're in his way. Sorry.
Y'all, excuse me, DC cameras, thank you.
So after, this is the point where it cuts off. But after it cuts off, she says, $50 million. And then that's when I asked her, how much is that going towards reparations? So this is what kicked off my outrage. Well, no, my outrage was kicked off throughout this whole situation. But at that point, when she said $50 million, like she really did something, that was it. That was the tipping point for me. There was nowhere for the steam to go. I had to let the stuff flow. So let's get into that. That's not the right one. Excuse me. I don't know what's wrong with me today. There we go. You got a line full of powerful people here. How about a hate crime bill for Black Americans? We suffered through the most hate crimes out of everybody. How about a hate crime bill? There's a lot of money getting thrown around and nothing representing us.
Privilege, and we need you all to come and do a little celebratory in front of Dr. Bullock real quick. Go ahead. Come on.
It's not going to change the topic now.
Come on. We don't want to be left out. You didn't come up. Yeah, that's why I come out here. Just do a little bit.
What about Black Americans, man?
Okay. Thank you.
Don't shush me now. Don't shush me. I'm here representing the Black grassroots and this school. We deserve our say too, and we deserve policy. Just like that. Just like that. And it doesn't go over my head that when in South Carolina, and our brother Alpha, he brought this out as well. In South Carolina, when we had our brothers and sisters inside of that church grilling Obama, people was trying to shush them. Well, I'm not having it. You ain't shushing me in a situation like this where it's supposed to be about our agenda. I'm going to let my flag fly high because I'm a proud Black American. And I'm going to let you know that you don't represent me. So you ain't going to come in here trying to shush me because you want her to get glory that doesn't exist here. You want her to get the glory? Have her do some real work for Black Americans. But you ain't going to shush me. And when I told her off like that, well, you guys heard what I told her. When I said what I said to her, she literally shut her mouth, turned her head, and crossed her legs. Councilwoman Plummer. And that's how we got to start dealing with these people. Y'all don't represent us. We represent us. You're put into a position by us, and then you turn your backs on us. You got us messed up if you think that you're going to get me to shut up about that. I'm going to make sure everyone in this room knows. I'm going to make sure everyone in this room knows what the agenda is for Black Americans. I represent the black grassroots, not you. But like I said, she shut her mouth up real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Bullitt is often called the father of environmental justice. He is.
I'm going to run that back a little bit because I want y'all to see, as I'm saying what I'm saying, Sheila Jackson Lee is trying to change the notion, the aura of the room by bringing the cheerleaders in front of where I was and where I was speaking and having them do this little fan dance and all this other crap. But I let her know that's not going to change the subject, ma'am.
Getting thrown around and nothing representing us.
Privilege, and we need you all to come and do a little celebratory in front of Dr. Bullitt real quick. Go ahead. Come on.
It's not going to change the topic, man.
Come on. We don't want to be left out. You didn't come up. Yeah, that's why I come out here just for a little bit.
What about black Americans, man?
Okay. Thank you.
Don't shush me now. Don't shush me. I'm here representing the black grassroots and this school. We deserve our say too. We deserve policy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Bullitt.
Sorry. Look how irritated the House Whip is getting. Visibly. She's trying to keep her smile on because she knows the cameras are on. But look how visibly angry she's getting.
Is often called the father of environmental justice. He is a proud Vietnam vet era U.S. Marine. His Dumping in Dixie, Race, Class, and Environmental Equality was the first book to introduce readers to the field of environmental justice. Achieving livable communities, growing smarter, achieving livable communities, environmental justice, and regional equity. He was featured in the July 2007 CNN People You Should Know.
Now notice, I got quiet myself. And the reason for that is because I wanted to make sure it got real silent in the room when I said what I'm about to say in this clip. I wanted to make sure you couldn't hear a pin drop. You could hear a pin drop before I said what I am going to say next. Because I wanted the world to know. And I wanted the news media to know what the agenda is.
Ladies and gentlemen, our professor, Dr. Robert Bullitt.
If you guys don't offer any real policy for black Americans, you guys will lose. The only way to win is to offer black Americans policy.
Bada bing, bada boom. Period, point, black. Period, point, and black. Ain't gonna be able to spin that. Period, point, and black. You ain't gonna be able to spin that.
Robert Bullitt.
If you guys don't offer any real policy for black Americans, you guys will lose. The only way to win is to offer black Americans policy.
Thank you.
Real policy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here. My first job out of graduate school in 1976 was at Texas Southern University. And I did a lot of my research that helped found the environmental justice movement right here. So I came back in 2011. I'm here.
Now, I got quiet once again. Because I, once again, want to make it very clear cut. So,
Today, effectively,
To the Micheline and Barbara Jordan School. School of Public Affairs. This is your own place. So everybody's doing it. 30 seconds, please.
Brother.
This is going to as well.
Now, I wanted to get to these brothers here. The senator, that's the senator in the tan. And then they're going to pull up the representative.
Okay.
First, we're happy to have you here. We're happy that you're on the front line, along with our sister soldier, Sheila Jackson Lee. Y'all give it up for her one more time, please. So people out there that saying it's time. I don't believe it's time. I believe the time is hers right now. Environmentalists, we thank you that you're here as well, Ms. Whip, and we appreciate the opportunity to do for Texas Southern University right here in District 13. Thank you.
Now, I panned the room because if you notice, compared to the beginning of this, it is not as crowded anymore. People started leaving in the middle of her doing, in the middle of her giving the flag over to dude and the award to dude. People started leaving once I said what I said and stood on my ground, stood on business. The people that were saying thank you and stuff like that, they left. They got up and walked out the room. And I was trying to catch that, but I didn't. But they got up and walked out the room, and a lot of other people did too.
Thank you, Congresswoman. As a proud alumnus of Texas Southern University, it makes my heart so proud to be here on our campus to receive this amazing grant. I want to thank the Biden administration.
Can you hear the pin drop? Yes? Okay, good. Okay, good.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Whip Clark, and the EPA. This is a dream come true. I sit on the Texas House Environmental Regulation Committee. This is so needed. Senator Miles and I.
Reparations is needed, my brother.
Bills. This is going to be transformational for Texas. Thank you so much, Congresswoman, and God bless
A
Texas.
transformative black agenda is needed, my brother. Policy is needed, my brother.
Make sure those things are simple and plain. Reparations is needed, my brother. A transformative black agenda is needed, my brother. Policy is needed, my brother. So now we get to the good joints, the good parts. I get to run up on Sheila Jackson Lee, if you want to call it that. And they put the popo in between us like I was going to put my hands on her, and I literally swatted his hand away from my chest and said, I am nowhere near her. And then once he go to walk away, they put a female cop in front of me. But let's see how that go.
And the Datress to come on the HBC.
Yes.
Miss Lee, when are black Americans going to get policy? I'm not nowhere near.
We just got through talking to
Now y'all heard the cop, back up. That's when I had to push his hand off of my chest and let him know I am nowhere near her. She's way on the other side of a table. I had to enhance my view on my phone in order to get it that close. But that's what they did in South Carolina to our family out there. When Black Alpha went out there, when all our brothers and sisters went out there, when Marcel Dixon went out there, they were all treated the same way by police officers, by DNC members, and by the NAACP. So I'm gonna stand my square, and I'm gonna stand right here. I ain't nowhere near her. Don't touch me. Get your hands off of me. And let her answer these questions, because that's what she's here for. Now, I also want y'all to pay close attention to what she tries to do and what she tries to say. And as soon as I push back, the bootlick senator comes over and whisks her away like they're going on a romantic vacation. Put his hands on her shoulders and shit. Peep this out.
What we're trying to do is just got through talking about pushing that bill on the floor. If we can't push that commission bill, we want to do executive order. But
now, did you get that? We're trying to push that bill on the floor, and by that bill, she's talking about H.R. 40. And if we can't get it pushed to the floor by commission, we're trying to have an executive order done. And I'm not having that at all. So yeah, she gets pushed back for saying something like that because it's nonsense. Biden already said he wouldn't do no reparations package by executive order because it could get overturned by the courts or some shit like that. And if that's the case, okay, fine. So by her saying that, she's lying to my face thinking. I don't know that she's lying to my face. Oh, but it's a sad day for Sheila Jackson Lee, and that's why she's tired of me.
as you well know, in order to get where anybody wants to do, I don't disagree with anyone, because I'm just there to move a vehicle forward so you can get where you need to be. We've got to get people to understand it and move it forward.
Everybody's getting things done without any type of research or anything. They're just getting funding and policy. We're the only people that's not getting funding and policy, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
That's how you stand on your square. You ain't gonna tell me no nonsense. Everybody else is getting funding, getting policy, and ain't taking no lick of research. She couldn't do nothing but walk away. Couldn't do nothing but walk away. I'm letting you know what our issue is. I'm letting you know what our agenda is. So it can't be misconstrued when you turn on the news. Let's get that real clear. Now, I'm going to try and speak to the House Whip, and you're going to see this white lady intervening in between me and her. So I say, you know what? Screw the House Whip. She heard enough. She knows what black Americans want. So let me talk to Representative Reynolds and have a conversation with him.
Oh, look at you. Thank you, sis.
In a room full of heavy hitters.
Somebody take this. Thank you all.
To put the law in between us. But they're supposed to be representatives wanting my vote.
As soon as I said that, the police officer giggled. And after that, after this was all over, she was hella nice to me and all this other stuff. Like she agreed. But she had to do a job.
One, two, and three. Let's get one more in there for you.
You're the House Whip, right? She said.
Now notice how this lady in the gray over here is pushing her way in between me and this House Whip, Katherine Clark, trying to make sure I don't get into her proximity. Try to make sure I'm out of her space. And then as soon as she gets done talking to the dude, the lady grabs the house whip and walks off. But I was fine with that because at that point in time, I had turned my attention to the representative.
House Whip, correct? I'm also served as minority whip in Texas. Yeah, for several sessions. So, well, we need it. We will be getting majority time. Representatives, question. When are we going to get some real policy?
Well, no, I'm in favor of reparations. I filed a bill when the Sugarland 95 on the convict leasing to have reparations. We need it. I think you're right. I mean, it's been missing, and I think we need it. It's overlooked.
But I think
the voices need to be saying it, and I think that's one of the things that's missing from the conversation.
It's one thing to say it, but it's if you look at right now, we're being told that democracy is on the line. We've been told this.
No.
Every time
but I think this is something
around,
separate.
Right?
This is something that's dealing with environmental justice, which is obviously an issue that impacts African American communities of color. But reparations is something that should have happened a long time ago.
Absolutely.
Now notice how he's speaking as if he's for it. Cool. Okay. So when he tries to make it about that coming from a grant, I had to hold his feet to the fire on it. And that's when he became Houdini. Let's show.
But environmental justice is coming from a grant. I mean, I think that we do need this.
But why don't we have grants like this going directly to Black Americans so that we can actually change the issues that's been put on us systemically? Because right now what we have a bunch of people telling us democracy's on the line.
Right.
Trump bad, Trump bad.
Right.
Black Americans, we've lived through some of the most heinous situations.
Notice how when I'm explaining this, all of a sudden he's looking at his phone. And then a woman comes out of nowhere and taps him on the shoulder and asks him a question or something like that. And then he has to go. So I kind of feel like that was kind of planned out. I might be wrong, but let's get back in there.
It's overlooked, but I think the voices need to be saying it, and I think that's one of the things that's missing from the conversation.
It's one thing to say it, but it's if you look at right now, we're being told that democracy is on the line. We've been told this.
No.
Every time
but I think this is something separate.
Right?
This is something that's dealing with environmental justice, which is obviously an issue that impacts African American communities of color. But reparations is something that should have happened a long time ago.
Absolutely.
But environmental justice is coming from a grant. I mean, I think that we do need this.
But why don't we have grants like this going directly to Black Americans so that we can actually change the issues that's been put on us systemically? Because right now what we have a bunch of people telling us democracy's on the line.
Right.
Trump bad, Trump bad. But
right.
Black Americans, we've lived through some of the most heinous situations. And we're seeing billions of dollars going to all these different.
Yes, ma'am. Good to see you too.
I talked to Coretta, but she didn't make it.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Hey, Congressman Green. Hey, doing good, sir. I just called it.
I know you were talking about reparations for the 40 acres and a mule. Is that one of the things you're talking about?
I'm talking about transforming the Black agenda, cash payments, the same thing that any other group of people got when they got reparations, reparative justice as well as cash payments.
Now, notice what I had to do, because she's a professor at the college as well. She also runs she's the editor of the school paper. So when she asked me about this, I was able to bring this information to her in the same manner. And I made sure that she understood we want this exact same thing that everyone else got as reparations. A reparative policy along with cash payments. That's it. And that's all. Very simple, very plain. But her question to me, she was like, when you talk about reparations, are you speaking about like 40 acres and a mule? And that's why I had to break it down in the way that I broke it down. We want everything that everyone else who received reparations received. Reparative justice, reparative policy, protections, and cash payments. That's it. That's all.
I'm sorry, and you are?
I'm Professor Glenn Griesinger, and also editor
Nice to
of
meet you.
Faculty
I'm
Speak.
Lawrence Carter.
Okay,
Nice to meet you.
At this point, I'm looking around the room, looking for the rest of the representatives, the politicians, the politicians, and as you can see, dipped out. He done dipped out.
He took a phone call and then just disappeared.
He became Houdini.
How you doing?
But that's it, family. That's how we doing it from now on. Hold these people accountable. Hold their feet to the fire because they don't give no damns about us. So we got to give a damn about us, and we got to give a damn enough to be on our Eric Mays stuff. Be unapologetic about it. Be unapologetic about it. Be unapologetic about it and stand on business. That's the goal. We fighting for the next generation so they don't have to have the same fight that we had. That was passed down to us as an inheritance. We're making sure that doesn't happen. We're going to stand on business. And if business is over there, guess what? I'm going to catch a flight to wherever business is to stand on it. When you come to these parts, wherever area, when you got some real black grassroots there, you're going to catch hell every single time. Sheila Jackson Lee is going to catch hell from me every single time she sees me. And when she loses this up and coming election, when she loses her seat and she has to go home to Houston, when she sees me in the streets, I'm going to be reminding her every single time I see her in the streets. You know, you could have got reelected if you offered black people something. And with that being said, family and friends, the doors of the church are now closed. If you have not hit that like button, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so you can be, and that notification so that you can be notified whenever these videos drop. Make sure we share this message out because this message is very important to share out. This is a very, very important message to share out. We doing this for the next generation. We're doing this for the next generation. We inherited the last generation's problems. We're not going to pass down the problems of our people to the next generation this time around. With that being said, once again, the doors of the church are closed. Peace, family.